term has evolved to reflect technological advancements in education. For example, in a smart classroom, you could see using AI or using VR and other emerging technologies to enhance learning experiences. And research shows that students who engage more with e-learning platforms tend to be more involved and achieve higher grades due to the shifts in their perception of schoolwork. So when you use more technological tools in your classroom, for example, some game-based applications, students tend to not see this as just a schoolwork, but they more tend to see this also as something fun, especially if it's something more like game-based. So in terms of using AI, literature shows that AI-based systems should be designed to function on personal equipment to reduce some costs, and efficient AI training methods should be implemented to avoid reliance on expensive computational power. So when it comes to importance of technology, we can also talk about some AI and AI-based applications too. So now I am going to start to show you some tools that I find useful a lot. I'm gonna start with some game-based tools. I highly recommend game-based tools in your classroom, especially if your students, if they tend to not speak up in the classroom, if they seem like, you know, a little bit bored, like lectures mostly, etc. So you can take a picture, you know, write these down, or I'm pretty sure we will send this PowerPoint at the end of this workshop, so you'll always know the names. So the first one is Quizlet. Quizlet is basically a online quiz platform, but you can also find some study cards and stuff like that in Quizlet. Braining Camp is again game-based tool that you can create quizzes. It's like game. Kahoot is the most popular one. I'm pretty sure you have heard about it before, but if you haven't, Kahoot is basically a game that you can create your own questions. Quizzes super similar to Kahoot. Again, it's like game-based quiz where time management also is important. For example, in Kahoot, your students answer the questions, and when they answer quickly, they tend to earn higher points because it's like game-based and there is like mostly time limits. However, since you are creating this quizzes, you can always change the times and etc. I will show this Kahoot example soon. And there is also one more called WordWall. WordWall is kind of different than the others. WordWall is something that you can use for especially introduction classes, or if you are maybe teaching in like freshman level, that might be also a good option too. Classcraft is again similar, just game-based tool that you can create your quizzes. So now I want to take a look at WordWall first, then we will just play Kahoot together. Let's look at the WordWall first. Okay, do you guys see the WordWall screen, or you are still seeing the PowerPoint? Just to make sure.
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. So WordWall is a platform like that. Here, I did not log in yet. So even you don't have an account, you can literally go to WordWall and just search different types of games. For example, for today's, let's imagine that we are teaching in a classroom first time and we want to do like an icebreaker activity and tell me about yourself activity. This is more for like, I would say younger students, but you can always find or you can edit and prepare your own questions. So here is the template. So I chose spin the wheel because this is gonna be introduction. So I say spin it. When is your birthday? For example, obviously this is not necessarily a question that you might ask in your classroom. So let's say that I like the template, right? How am I gonna change it and adapt it to my lecture? So in WordWall, I find it super easy to create yours. Basically, you click edit content here, and then you have to log in. It's free. You can just sign up for free. You can use your Google account too. You just say edit content, and you started editing it, and it copies it to your own library. Then you can just use it forever. You can make it like public so that everybody can, reach your work, and they can also use it. They can also edit your content, etc. For example, this is a public word wall. That's why I am able to use it. But this is just one type. Let's see the other type. Open the box, it says. We are still in the same tell me about yourself word wall right now. This is just different types of games. So here it says tap 1 to open. Do you do sports? Just a question, right? So again, one more different version of this one. So apparently the creator, they created like different versions, just 3 versions for this introduction. So do you, and it goes like that, right? So this is called word wall. Again, different types of games, but I most likely do the spinning one. I think it's very helpful for introductions, especially. Maybe you can write your student's name and, continue like that. The second one that I want to show you is Kahoot, which I am assuming probably you played before, or maybe you didn't, but today you will have a chance to play together. So for Kahoot, you are creating an account first. Again, it's free. Then the similar thing, you can just search for some public Kahoots, or you can create a Kahoot. I feel like in all these technological tools, it is similar. When you say edit, it copies the Kahoot or WordWall or whatever it is. It copies it and it goes to your own library, and you can edit, change questions. You can just create fully, new one. But this is how it works for most applications. So this is not something that I create. For example, this is just a Kahoot about Earth, Sun, and Moon. So I want to play this with you guys real quick. This is the short one. So when you start the Kahoot, you will see either a QR code, and there's also a game pin. So your students can join this Kahoot by scanning the QR code, or they can just Google Kahoot login, and they can just put this number. So you can either scan the QR code, or you can just Google Kahoot, like Kahoot.it or Kahoot login, something like that. And it's gonna ask you the PIN, and then you could join. Any questions so far? This is a quick Kahoot, so I would like to play it together because I feel like the questions are interesting. This is designed by NASA. So now I'm curious about it. We could just real quick play. So you will be waiting your students to participate, like I am waiting you guys right now. And when they are all in, you can click start, and you can start it. Okay, I am going to start. How long does it take sunlight to reach the earth? So based on the options, you are gonna choose the color and the box that you see on your screen. This is how it works. If you think it's 8 minutes, you have to click the red triangle shape, for example. And the answer should be 8. It takes 8 minutes sunlight to reach the earth. Let's see how much we know about it. How fast does the earth move in its orbit about the sun? I believe they meant to say around. $18 miles per second. Okay. 4 people. That's good. The moon's density is what percentage of the earth? It should be 60%, guys. Okay, so again, in Kahoot, it's important how fast you answer. And for example, if I wanna rewrite these questions, the thing that I need to do is go find the Kahoot, say edit, and it duplicates to my library. Then I can even change the times. Instead of like 10 seconds, we could do like 40 seconds. The Ecuador region. Emma is on fire. What is the largest living organism visible from Earth's orbit? The Great Barrier Reef. Okay. Now I'm gonna stop the game here. I would say, Emma, you won. Congratulations. But it just, but it just, you know, goes like that. That was a good Kahoot, actually. I might even use it in my class. So yes, so Kahoot, again, it's just a quiz game, and the other ones are kind of similar. Let me continue with the presentation. Oops. Okay. So these are mostly like game-based ones. And again, quizzes is also helpful. It's kind of similar. You can always go and like, you know, explore more. So after Kahoot, now I'm gonna a little bit talk about focusing STEM. I know we have some STEM attendees here right now. So I teach STEM by using technology. So these are some good resources that you guys can use. So PhET simulations, this is the most common one, and I use it a lot. PhET simulation, PhET. So basically, when you're in classroom and you want to do some experiments, but you know, sometimes you don't have enough resources, you don't have enough materials, etc. And these simulations help a lot, and I will actually show this in a second. PhET simulations in their website, they also provide you a sample worksheet. So just looking at the simulation is not what we desire as educators, right? Our students, they should be exploring something, not just looking at some type of simulation, obviously. So PhET simulations, they also provide you like worksheets that you can use in your classroom. The other thing could be problem-based learning, PBL. In their PBL website here, when you click this, you are going to see that for different types of subjects, they have some problem-based learning focused activities. And you can use case-based teaching in STEM. Again, here you can find different case studies related to STEM topics. And Khan Academy, this is like a YouTube channel. They also have a website, but their videos are so helpful. Maybe it would be helpful for you or your students. Khan Academy. So I will be showing PhET simulations and problem-based learning for these teaching STEM ones. I feel like it can help you a lot. So let's see. Okay. So this is an example of PhET simulation. The activity is called build a molecule. When you go down, when you scroll down, you see teaching resources, for example. You have to just sign in to, you know, access these stuff, but there is like a build a molecule worksheet. Do you have to use it exactly like that? Obviously not, but you can just, you know, get some hints. If you are preparing a worksheet, it can be a useful guide. And when you click activities, again, you see different people and different activities that they created actually by using this simulation. Some teachers or instructors, they created, you know, worksheets and they provided here. Some of them are not available. Some of them, I would say, like requires extra, like, you know, payments and stuff like that. But I would say most of them are very accessible. And again, you can create your own. So let's go to simulation, for example. I would say tell your students to use Google Chrome. Safari is not like working super well for the simulations. Let's say we are gonna build a single molecule. So I am just building a molecule. So it says H2O, water. Let's click 3D. When I click 3D, I see the molecule here in different angles. Your molecules, collection 1. Okay. What am I gonna do now? Now I have 2 oxygen, for example, 2 hydrogen. When they come together, they create hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. Now I separated them. I say 3D, I look at the molecular shape, stuff like that. I know one person said they're from chemistry. So again, we also teach a chemistry class. So this is helpful for them to visualize. You can find worksheets. For example, if I am gonna use this in my classroom, I would prepare questions and like instructors, I would say first, choose the molecules. Second, like, you know, bring them together, like, you know, just simple and clear instructors. So if you are using a simulation, my recommendation would be just make sure to use clear instructions for your students. This is again PhET simulations. There is also one that I want to show in problem-based learning website. This is also mostly you can find stuff related to STEM, and you can share your work in Google Classroom if you are using Google Classroom, but also you can just copy and, you know, paste the link in our Blackboard page. This is how I do. This is mostly like a tutorial. For example, ionic bonding tutorial, like it shows you basically what ionic bonding is, then it asks you to do some stuff. For example, like it says, the box contains two negatively charged ions, drag one of them closer and see what happens. Things like that. Then you go, now what happens? Like, are they repelling each other? Are they like pulling each other? Like, what's going on? Make observations, then it gives you, yeah, we did some observations. Now these are the results before we continue. The positive ion, like things like that. This is like more tutorial. At the end, it asks you questions. And I find it very useful. Again, not only for STEM, I'm pretty sure they have also other subjects related to stuff too. But again, the simulation and like problem-based learning, these are mostly the things that you can use in the STEM area. Any questions so far? You can stop me, or if you have any questions, I am here to answer because I use these two a lot. Again, my recommendation, if your students are using this, please tell them to use Chrome. Safari doesn't work well with this. So now I want to talk about some creative multimedia quiz tools. Doesn't have to be necessarily quiz, but just multimedia quiz tools. Now I would say if your department is non-STEM, like, you know, for example, if you're in Maxwell, you can find these very useful. The reason that I am saying it, I know that especially if you are running a discussion section, which I believe many TAs in Maxwell, this is how they do it. You want your students to be engaged, right? But like, you know, if you are teaching a 9 a.m. class, they sometimes tend to just be there, show their existence and, you know, not talk at all. So they are there for just attendance, right? So you can use multimedia tools to maybe like let them engage more. So the first tool is Nearpod. What is Nearpod? Basically, it's something like PowerPoint, but it is interactive. So when you use Nearpod, at the beginning of the slide, your students attend, like we attend the Kahoot or like anything that you can literally attend. They attend the slides, Nearpod slides. And for example, when you pass your slides, your students, their tablet or phone, whatever they are using, it also passes the slides. So they actually follow you by using their laptops or by using their phones. So every time you skip a PowerPoint presentation, let's say, their device also passes, like it's just connected. Basically, it's an interactive PowerPoint type of thing. And the good thing about Nearpod, you can also create like polls, quizzes, and even some VR experiences. Nearpod learning is something that definitely takes time. I know there are like specific workshops, not in our university, but like, you know, in general, they are giving Nearpod certifications for like especially teachers if you are interested. And this might be something that you might consider to attend something like that maybe and gain, earn a, you know, certificate about using Nearpod. But basically, it is just interactive, and that's why it keeps students more active. So Peer Deck, it's basically engaging lessons with real-time student responses. Again, when you are going through with the slides, students can actually like respond and stuff like that. So Edpuzzle is the one that I want to focus because in my experience, I would say, so most of you are TAs or like probably you are not going to be using Nearpod because you are not going to be allowed to change the structure of the class that you are teaching that much. So maybe you can just do minor edits to make your classroom more active. So Edpuzzle is a good way to do it. And I'm going to show you like in a second, but it's basically you are using an existed videos and you are just writing some questions in it. So you are embedding some questions in your video. So if you are showing a video in your classroom, let's say in 10 seconds, a question pops up, which makes students more active. I tried before. I think it's super beneficial because sometimes I teach in a crowded class. Sometimes I have like 60 students. And let's be honest, if I'm teaching in a big classroom and if I have 60 students, when I pull up a video, most of them are going to Amazon and start shopping. And I do not enjoy that, right? So I want them to be active. So Edpuzzle helps me a lot. And let me show you how it seems like. So this is my content in Edpuzzle. Again, you can just log in with your Google account. This is what I do for all the tools. There are some things that I created before. There are some Turkish stuff here too. I was using Edpuzzle even before, like, you know, coming to Syracuse, right? So this is the one that I want to show you guys. This is not something I created. I go to Edpuzzle and I literally click that search terms. So what is something that we can all participate? Climate change. I write climate change here and I find one. So first, how am I gonna edit this? You say edit. It says edit and create your own version, right? You click edit and here, these parts, you see the questions. So the person who created this also created these multiple choice questions. And you can also determine the time, like when do you want that question to pop up. Here you can see everything. For example, basically you can just edit these questions, change these questions, and just create your own version. I click questions, for example. Here.
Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that traps heat in.
I want to go to first question. So I'm in the first question right now, right? So here, oops. Do you guys see this pen, for example? You can, you know, edit the options here by clicking that pen. Save your changes, cancel. I feel like you would, you know, like these are the familiar stuff. You can delete the question, you can use the pen and edit and stuff like that. So this is how you use an existed Edpuzzle video and change the questions and design it for your classroom, basically. Let's say that I like it the way that it, you know, does, and I just want to use it. Let's do it together. I just click the video.
Climate change is the gradual variation in Earth's atmospheric conditions over time. In this practice session, we'll review the causes of both natural and human-driven climate change. Ready to flip the switch? It's time to shine a little more light on climate change. Our planet has gone through lots of changes throughout its long history. These models are based on scientific evidence of how Earth looked at 4 different times in the past. Which models represent Earth during a glacial period?
So now it is asking me a question. The reason that I like about, you know, I like Edpuzzle, basically your students, they have to be active. They just can't go sleep when you are using this Edpuzzle, okay? So which models represent Earth during a glacial period? For example, A, B, C, D. So let's say randomly B and C, for example. Imagine that we are in classroom and students say B and C mostly. I say submit. right? It says wrong. Then it shows me the correct answer. Then maybe you can explain more as a teacher. Click continue.
These models show Earth during two different glacial periods.
Then the video continues.
Times when the global climate was relatively cool, with more ice at both poles. And these models show two different interglacial periods. Whether in liquid form or frozen into glacial ice, the amount of surface water on Earth.
And it goes like that. So you might wonder how to create an Edpuzzle from, scratch. Like if you don't like any of these videos, like how to do it. When you create your account and go to Edpuzzle, oops. Okay, this is my content, for example, videos. I click. These are the videos that I find in YouTube, and I actually used the YouTube link and embedded it in the Edpuzzle. For example, add folder. You can just create a folder by clicking add folder. Now I am trying to see, discover. So when you click discover, you see here YouTube. So every video that we can find in YouTube, you can use it. So can some of you who are in non-STEM major tell me a topic, like maybe someone in Maxwell or like non-STEM major that we can try finding something? Oops, I see something in chat. Okay, music composition. Let's see. Music. Okay, so I found many videos. These are all YouTube videos and people use them like edit questions. For example, this one contains 22 questions and notes. Or film music composition, 42 students played this before. A-level music composition. It seems like this doesn't have any questions, so you can embed questions mostly. So the good thing about Edpuzzle, basically everything that you can find in YouTube, you can just embed questions. Also, I have never done it before, but I know people, they do it sometimes. You can create your own video and also upload it to Edpuzzle too. So if you play with Edpuzzle a little bit, I'm pretty sure you can just see all the things that you can do in Edpuzzle. Probably I still have the things to learn from Edpuzzle. But again, if you play a little bit, I'm pretty sure you can just find everything. But the main feature that I always use, just embedding the questions and, it pops up in the classroom. Any questions so far? I hope these are going helpful, guys. So I will also be sharing some interactive polling and response systems. Again, when we desperately ask some questions to our students, sometimes they don't speak up, and I can't blame them. Sometimes, maybe they have anxiety, maybe if they are like, English second language students, maybe they don't want to talk, they are not comfortable, like there might be billions of reasons, which obviously we have to engage them. We need to provide that safe environment so that they are willing to talk and speak up. This is the first things first, obviously. But again, maybe you are teaching in a big classroom and it's just hard sometimes to get some response, right? So in that case, I think we can use the response systems such as Mentimeter, Poll Everywhere, Slido, Socrative. These are all the same stuff, guys, basically. Mentimeter and Poll Everywhere, these are the two of them that I mostly use. So for example, Poll Everywhere, this is the visual here is just showing like how it works. You ask a question and you share that question with your students. Probably they can just scan the QR code as always, or they can just write the pin in their laptop and they just click the answer that they think is true or something like that. So Mentimeter is kind of different. That's why I am willing to show Mentimeter to you. At the end of this workshop, we will be using Mentimeter and to run a discussion section. But basically, Mentimeter is also something like PowerPoint. However, you can create word clouds, which means you can ask a question and students can type their responses. So if they don't want to speak up, this might be a good way that they can actually attend, and participate the lecture. You can also prepare quizzes and things like that. So Poll Everywhere, basically this is real-time audience interaction with multiple question types. Again, it doesn't have to be just one type of question. They can select the correct answer. They can type their answers and everything. Socrative is something that I never used, but I heard that people who use this actually they love it. So because you can also provide exit tickets. For example, at the end of the classroom, you can ask your students 2 things that you learned in this classroom, like an exit ticket example. And apparently in Socrative, you can also provide something like that too. Slido, again, kind of similar to PowerPoints. Canva, I would say many people know Canva. Again, Canva is kind of similar to this stuff. And I want to also talk about some collaborative boards. This is super helpful if your classroom requires a collaborative work. If you want your students to do something together, this is the part that you are going to love. So probably Google used to provide something called Jamboard. Jamboard is now called Miro. Many people think that Jamboard is gone, which is true, but it is now serving as Miro. They are the same things. So what is this Miro? It's basically, let's visit Miro. My computer is so slow. I'm sorry about it, but sign up with Google. I think I have an account, but if don't, it's fine. Okay, continue. So signing up is super easy, even if you don't have an account. It's just easy. I don't want to create a team right now. Okay, I have to create a team. XX. So what is Miro? Basically, you see different types of templates here. Apparently, you can invite your collaborators to work with you. I do not want to do that right now. Please go. Okay, so so basically in Miro, you can create mind maps. So if you want your students to create conceptual map in your classroom, you can just provide these templates so that they can use it and stuff like that. I'm just gonna go with the blank board to show you guys. So this is a collaborative working space, right? So basically, if you provide a link for this board, this is like a digital board, right? Your students can work together. Please stop offering me some templates. I am team manager, whatever, submit. So your students can actually, like work together. Here, there's a pen. They can write their ideas here. They can also comment each other by using this comment box. Let's say that one student writes something, the other one say, yes, that's a great idea for this part, like stuff like that, basically, okay? And it shows who is telling what. One thing that I find super useful, so imagine our teaching station at SU, right? So obviously we use Blackboard to write some stuff, but if you do not want to use the Blackboard to write some stuff, there's a pen in our teaching station. I am not sure what that pen is called, like, take Sean, what is that pen called?
I
In
think
our
I think it's just a stylus.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct. So if you want to use that in your classroom, maybe instead of writing to Blackboard, because sometimes it's just hard if you are teaching in a big classroom, it might be hard. So I use Miro. I click this pen image here by using the stylus in my teaching station. I go to Miro, I click that, and it automatically activates. So I start writing here. Let's say that I'm teaching chemistry. I am drawing molecules. Obviously, now it's not good because I don't have the stylus here. But in your teaching station, you have the stylus. You can use this as board. Okay, that's why I wanted to show you guys, especially this Miro. I used to use Jamboard. Jamboard is gone. Jamboard was provided by Google. But now Miro is the same thing, so you can definitely use Miro. And again, it is kind of helpful because you can use it to teach. Your students can, use it too, but you can also use it to teach. Another one is called Padlet. I find a great video for Padlet. I just want to play that video. What is Padlet? It's again interactive digital collaboration tool, but I would say it's kind of cool if you are creating a discussion boards and stuff like that, and you are going to see the reason why, and it's super easy to navigate. Let me play this video.
But Padlet can do so.
I'm just going to skip the how to sign up and stuff like that. It's just you sign up with your Google.
Have you ever thought about how powerful it would be if all of your tools were custom connected?
Microsoft, but you can create your own login that you're doing. Go through, check them out. Okay. Funky Padlet. You can change that very quickly. So I'll just say example Padlet just for today's tutorial. And I can give it a description if I want, icon. You can make all these adjustments in it. You can play with no icon or not, and you can just play with all these different things. And then I can hit back right up top here, and you can see the icon is here. This is the unique address link to your Padlet. And this is important because if I was going to go ahead and share this Padlet, so if I was going to put information, if I want other people to put information on this, this is where I can copy the Padlet URL and I can send it to them in an email and they can click on it. And depending on what I have the settings, if they are going to allow to edit it or not, that's how they would do it. But I'll get into that a little bit later too. We have our wallpaper. I have this brick layout right now.
So basically it's like an online collaboration space, right? And you choose your design, like emojis, the font, like here. As a creator of the Padlet, you are able to do many stuff, unlike the other collaboration discussion areas. I'm just gonna, pass these parts right now.
Adaptations there. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this. Let's create a post, and you can do this in several different ways in Padlet. Now you notice right at the bottom right-hand corner, there is a plus. I could click on this and I can start a post. So what might want to put on this? Let's say this is going to be about dogs here. So I'm just going to write dogs. I could hit publish. As soon as I write something, I could go ahead and hit publish, but I can still add more. Maybe I want to upload a file. So if I hit the upload right here, it goes to my computer. Here's a Word document I could grab, and it's uploading that Word document. You can see how fast it's loading up through here.
So one thing that I love, you can upload your actual documents, which is unique.
As it's loading up, I could be writing something about this. So maybe this is a research paper. I don't think it is, but I'll go to edit here. Take a look at this. You can open the post in a new tab, copy link to post.
So let's say that you give an assignment to your students, they maybe just write something or they find an article and they post, then the other students in the classroom, they can actually,
and we'll call this Cooper, and I could write something here, so some information if I want to, but I go ahead and hit publish, and that's another way. So you could
So all your students can, participate here. And the good thing is they can actually comment each other's posts. That's why I love it.
be using the plus at the bottom. You could be double clicking somewhere, or maybe you want to just drag something over. So I'm just going to quickly just double click on the Padlet to open up one more. I want to point out all the different things that you can add to this. So if you go to the ellipses over here, click on more, take a look at all the different options that you can be adding.
So you can even add like Spotify link. So basically you can just integrate everything that you have in this Padlet. And I am just gonna skip a little bit. You can also choose, this is kind of same in every collaborative work like Google Docs, if you want students to write or can edit, can read, like, there's like settings area, like in every collaboration site. You can save your Padlet wall as PDF or maybe CSV. And one thing I love, let's say that your assignment is planets of our solar system. This is your students' assignments. They created something like that. They click the post and they can comment each other. If they want, they can comment anonymously too. So this is also a good feature, I would say, a feature that I like. So Padlet provides like very different options, I would say, for teachers especially. And it's like a safe place if you are just gonna create an assignment, if you don't want to do like paperwork assignment, if you don't want to do handouts, you can just create a Padlet and share with your students. And the good thing is you will never lost your Padlet. Like it's there in your account. The accounts that you created, it's gonna be always there. So you can always see your previous works. For example, this, I think I created 2 years ago. What are you most looking forward to see as STEM student? My students answered like anonymous. I'm most looking forward to learn about details of my major, like things like that. They're all anonymous and they can just comment each other. The good thing is, again, I never lose them. So I wanna kind of start finishing up with mentioning free QR code generators. So for example, even for today's workshop attendance, we use QR codes. We use QR codes for everything right now, especially when we talk about digital tools and stuff, right? So these are some free QR code generators. I mostly use Canva QR code generator. You can use QR code generator when you just click. These are links, by the way. So when we share the PowerPoint with you, you are going to be able to access all of it. QR code monkey, QR stuff, like these are all free. However, they mostly have like limits. For example, 10 times you can create free QR code, things like that. You can just use different ones every time. That works. The reason that I'm sharing this, maybe in your classroom, you wanna, do like active learning stuff. You wanna create something that students can scan your QR code and join. You can use these always. And now finally, I will be doing a Menti activity. Here I will be showing you guys Menti, as well as we will be answering some discussion questions. So Menti is called like Mentimeter. Oops, presentation. Let me go back to my account. I want to go back to my account. Okay, so when I go to Menti, again, you can just sign in with your Google account. They also have an AI section right now. So here you see my different Mentis. Mentis is like presentation again, but it's mostly to create polls or get your students' answers. And they also provide like get to know Menti. What is Menti? Create your first Menti. Like they provide good amount of instructions. I mostly use word clouds, which basically means you are asking a question and your students type their answers and it just pops up in the big screen. So now I'm going to ask you to join at menti.com. Just Google menti.com and use this code that I am showing right now and answer my questions. So the first question is, which technological tool would be more helpful in your class? What do you guys think? So when you guys respond, your answers should just appear here. So this is good for students who doesn't want to, you know, like actually talk and speak up. They can still share their ideas with you. Edpuzzle. I love Edpuzzle. I feel like it's just it helps us to make our students more active, and it's not just STEM focused. Edpuzzle is for like everything that's like good. Fate simulations, I love it because in our classroom we use it a lot. And they provide a lot of resources too. That's what I love about Fate simulations too. Menti is cool if your students just don't want to, you know, like talk. Kahoot, always, I would say, you know, in every discipline, every subject, you can use Kahoot. Maybe one thing that you didn't know before can be like WordWall. It's more game based. Like there are different types of games. I didn't show all of them obviously, but if you go to WordWall, you can just play a little bit. Also, Quizlet can help your students a lot in terms of to study too. They have like study cards, kind of game based study cards. So I love Quizlet too. Thank you for your responses, guys. Now, my second question. How do you think these tools can enhance student engagement and learning outcomes? You can write like keywords. You don't have to write a whole sentence, but like, how do you think these tools can enhance students? For example, by being them engaged, like things like that. Giving feedback, that's a very good one actually, because it's like so easy to give feedback by using these tools. For example, in Padlet, when I use Padlet, when my students do their assignment or like work with Padlet, so they put their work, right? And we can actually do peer feedback. Their peers can give feedback to each other, which is like, in our classrooms, it's not always super possible to use peer feedback, but Padlet is great if your students want to give each other's feedback, or if you want them to give each other's, you know, feedback. I would definitely recommend Padlet, for example. And Menti also, maybe at the end of the class, you can use this Menti and ask what is good, what is, you know, what can be improved, and they can just write some keywords and you can keep them. You can redesign your lesson maybe. Exit tickets, again, they are so helpful. I love exit tickets. They are basically, if you guys don't know what exit ticket is, like you can just quickly, you know, make a Google search about it, but it's just good for, again, feedback, and they can repeat what they know, what they learned, things like that. Focus on key takeaways, improve understanding, quick warm-up. I agree with quick warm-up part too, definitely. To visualize critical, yeah. How can technology help facilitate inquiry-based or student-centered or active learning? These are kind of similar things. Learning. How can the technology and technological tools help facilitate these student-centered learning? What do you guys think? If you just want to, by the way, unmute yourself and talk, you are more than welcome. You don't have to just write. But if you guys want, that would be great. You can just speak up if you want.
I could just say something.
Yeah.
I feel like especially in like block or seminars or like intensive courses where you have longer periods of time, you can really give students time to sit together and maybe use one of these tools and then present it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. It just helps a lot, especially in like big classrooms. What else? What do you guys think? Again, you can just unmute yourself and just speak. So one example that comes to my mind, again, when we do discussion sections, students sometimes, like they don't want to say something bad, which is not the case, but they think that, oh, not agreeing is something bad. That's sometimes how they think, which is totally not the case. It's okay to disagree with, something if you are, giving your reasons and everything. And it actually creates an argumentation, like good environment to improve their argumentation skills. Like if you are disagreeing with something, why? Like you should be able to do argumentation, because we are living in this world, and even when you vote, you make like an argumentation before you vote. Like, you know what I mean? This is just a basic life skill that our students should be actually knowing. So I personally try to encourage them for argumentation, and these areas like technological tools, it helps them to improve their argumentation skills, because it's mostly anonymous. So if they don't want their name to be seen, it's anonymous, right? And they can compare different projects, for example, and they can write their reviews, they can ask their question to their, peers. I would say in general, creating a discussion environment is really easy for these tools. Wider range of resources, again, yes, I totally agree with that too. Any tools that you would recommend? Is there any tool that you use and you think it's super effective, but I didn't have a chance to mention, or maybe I don't know, or maybe I do, but I didn't put it here? Like any recommendation that you guys have in terms of technology, technological tools? PlayPosit. Okay, let me write that down. I don't know who wrote this, but if you want to elaborate, like, tell more about it, can you just speak up?
I actually wrote it.
Oh, okay.
PlayPosit is the thing that we use for the TA orientation to either add questions to the videos that the TMs create for the modules, or it's a way of checking that students have completed the video, that they've at least watched it. So in that way, it's very much like Edpuzzle, that you can sort of chop up a video and put in assessments. And that is something that the university, everyone has access to, because it comes with our university package. You may have to just sort of log in to set it up, but after that, it's available.
Okay, that's good to know. I like using Mentimeter because it allows the students to see trends. Their own data is part of the knowledge production process. Yes, Ren, I appreciate your answer. I definitely agree with that. And Mentimeter is super easy to use, honestly. Someone asked the question, does Mentimeter have a limit on number of participants from Menti? There should not be a limit. But for example, for Kahoot, last year, it wasn't like that before. Last year, they changed the Kahoot. Now, if you have the free plan, there's a participation limit, like 25 students or something like that, I guess. But for Menti, as far as I know, no, because I use Menti in like a 60 student, crowded classroom. If they change anything, I don't know, because Kahoot just changed last year. I don't believe that Menti have the limits, so you can freely use it. Any tools that you guys would recommend, guys? Maybe something that we don't know. Again, you can just speak up to if you want. You can always use Canva to create nice PowerPoints too. Canva offers a lot of stuff. Okay, question, then I'm skipping the next question. How can we ensure that all students, including those with limited access to technology at home, benefit from these tools? What do you guys think? So we talk about importance of technology, obviously, but how can we ensure that all students, including with limited access to technology at home, benefit from these tools? What do you guys think? Again, if you just want to talk, here, the stage is yours. Yes, so smartphone friendly. If the tool that we are using is like, for example, smartphone friendly, it's super easy for students to use. Let's say not everyone has a MacBook or iPad, for example, like but smartphones, I would say mostly like everyone has it, and if the tool is smartphone friendly, it would be so great for people to access. I use Canva for all my presentation. Yes. So quick question, free feel to type your response. When you use Canva, like, have you ever tried using it on your phone? I don't think that it works on the phone. Does it? I don't know. I never tried. I'm just curious right now. There might be an Canva app. Maybe it works well with the app. I'm not sure about it. Yeah, it seems like there is an app in Apple Store, Canva app, and maybe if you download the app, probably yeah. Well, probably it's easier with laptop, you are right. But still, it's kind of accessible. So I would say for this question, making the online tools accessible, and also think about the backgrounds, or like, is it user friendly? Is it easy to actually navigate that website? I feel like this is super important, because for some of them, it is just hard. You guys also saw, for example, I love Miro because I use in my classroom, I use that stylus pen, like it's just easy, but it just keeps asking me so much stuff, like pops up the questions. It's kind of annoying. For example, it's not like super user friendly, I would say. It's just sometimes hard to navigate. And I would say if it's hard for me to navigate, for example, a professor who has 40 years experience, maybe like, they are not gonna be easily get used to use that technological tools. So I would say like being easy to navigate should be also important. And if the students have a limited access, I would say in our library, for example, we provide like computers and everything so that it's like more accessible. If the tool is working literally everywhere, like every PC or smartphone or whatever, everywhere that you can attend, I think this is the one thing. Like, it doesn't matter what type of laptop you are using, what type of PC you are using, like if it is working smoothly without creating a problem in every laptop that you attend, because you can, if you don't have an access with technology at home, when you go to library, when you log into your account, when you try to reach that technology tool, you should be able to easily. I think that's like one key point that we can consider. And this is all that I want to talk about today. Thank you all for the participation. I really appreciate it. Like, is there anything that you guys want to add? I'm also curious about your classroom experience. Maybe something that you can share super quick related to your classroom experience. Like when, let's say you use Mentimeter, like how did it go? What are some challenges, for example, that you observe in your classroom if you use any? Oh, thank you, Ren. You're welcome. Let's wrap up with like some, discussion questions. Then what do you guys think about, like, which type of technological tools that you have used before? Let's start with that. Like, have you used any of these in your classroom? If yes, what are some challenges that you faced maybe? Or if you didn't use, what is the reason that you didn't use it so far? I'm also curious to learn about that too. Maybe you just didn't know. Okay, we have one answer on chat. When I use Mentimeter, surprise has been asking for more discussion. Students think everyone is in their school, in their social position, and this is helpful to see variation and explore social conditions that lead to different positions. Yeah. This is a good way to think, to explore their social conditions.
I mean, so far I haven't really used it myself on purpose, but I've learned it from students. Actually, they use it a lot themselves in their own presentations, especially if it's supposed to be interactive. So this is when when they used Kahoot or Padlet. And we've had very good experience with it. The only I thought the only time it always somehow works, but one disadvantage is if they have too many questions, then it kind of does get you also see lesser students participating, and then so you have to be very careful, I think, with the time limit on those things, that it's maybe just focused 5 to 7 questions and that's it.
Yeah, maybe just being mindful about your questions and ask, a question that actually goals the goal is related to your class, like, not just to ask questions, but actually a question that leads to, critical thinking, that let them think more, increase their critical thinking skills, maybe like I said, argumentation skills. Like there should be another workshop about like how to ask a question, maybe, Sean.
And also like this commenting between, I feel like sometimes students just put the questions out there with absolutely no comments in between, and then this you lose the point somehow.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I think it's very important to ask measurable questions or create a safe discussion environment by asking these questions. Yeah. If you don't have anything to say, Sean, do you have anything to say? Because I am pretty much done. Again, thank you for participating, everyone.
No, other than everyone who either signed in on the chat or used the QR code, I'll send you a copy of the PowerPoint or the presentation, and I'll most likely post the recording on our YouTube channel, so I can include the link there as well if you want to go back and review. But all I have is thank you for doing this, and for introducing us all to all of these various tools that we might use in the classroom with more or less success.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your discussions and participation. I see on the chat people, they need
Thank
to
you
leave.
so much.
You are welcome. Thank you guys for attending. Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone.